Okay, and we're back again. We'll talk just real quick about how I cut the foam. As you see here, I've got some long, nice straight edges cut in this, and they're actually very, very clean. They're only going to need a little bit of touch up, so I'll show you how I do that here in a moment. The first cutting tool I tried, this is what Evil Effects recommended, although he's probably got a better grade tool than I do. So anyway, this is a hot knife, and you can get one of these off of Amazon or at a decent hobby store. But the problem was that the knife tip that came with this was very, very similar to an X-Acto knife tip, just like this, except the blade is nowhere near as sturdy. And sorry, I wanted to find the cap for the knife. The blade was nowhere near as sturdy, and the way it's screwed in, it just kept falling out, loosening up on me. You had to take a while for the knife to get hot as well, and then when you started cutting the edge of the foam, cutting through the foam, and you can see again it's fairly thick. The knife would start bogging down. It would cool off really, really fast. So I didn't go with that. But another thing that I could try to using the hot knife for was to cut these detail lines. And as you can see, these detail lines are very, very clean. I've pretty much given up on the hot knife, even though it's got a number of different tips to it, because when I cut the detail lines on a test cut, the detail lines came out basically charred and not very clean, not very smooth. So hot knife, back in the drawer. Not going to pull that one out. So what did I do? Well, for cutting the edges, I used just a regular X-Acto knife. Now, for curved cuts, as you see, not too clean, although this is going to be a hidden edge, so I'm not too worried about it. Here's a much, much cleaner bottom edge, as you can see. And then, of course, here is a straight edge. Now, all I used for the straight edge was a piece of the poster board that I linked, poster board template that I linked in another video. So this is just a standard hobby knife. If you want to go with a larger blade, you're more than welcome to. Just make sure your blade's sharp, and that's the main thing. Now, I guess the next question is, how did I cut those detail lines? And I'll show you right now. And what I have here is just a Dremel tool kit. And in the Dremel kit, I have, let me see if I can find the bit. Here it is. Okay. Anyway, I have this bit. Basically it's a sharpening tool. And as you see here, it runs perfectly through these detail lines. So what I did was I put it into my Dremel tool, and then I attached this, and this is basically a plunging attachment. So the plunge attachment would sit on the foam. I take a straight edge, in this case my trusty 2-foot level, start at one end, run the Dremel in router mode right along the straight edge, get a perfectly straight line, as you can see there. Worked really, really well. The only problem, of course, is when you have a curved line like that. Now, this isn't a curve, that's an angle. The line bends at an angle. So what I did in this particular case is I took these templates, and you can see the holes in the templates. So what I did was I took the router attachment, put it directly over the hole, plunged the Dremel tool bit straight down through the paper. I'm going to kind of show you like this, of course, in the Dremel tool, and then pulled it right back out. So when I was left with was a nice little hole right here. So I would start the Dremel tool at the hole, use the straight edge, take it to the edge, go back to the hole, take the straight edge, and go to the other edge. And I think it worked out pretty well. Now, as you can see, though, I don't know if I can get in close enough. As you can see, there's a little bit of rubber bits along the edge of the details that I cut, but those will clean up very easily with either a little sandpaper or just by plucking them out with your fingers. Up to you. So that's a basic technique. Later on, when I'm actually cutting some stuff up again, I'll show you how that works with the Dremel tool, and maybe you can get some ideas. Now, of course, if you don't have a Dremel tool, you could use a regular sized router with a small bit, of course. But a decent Dremel tool. It's a Dremel 3000. This set right here only ran me about $50, and I think it was well worth it, especially considering I can use it for all sorts of other stuff in the house. Let's see. The other technique that I want to talk about is how I got these smoothed, detailed areas right here. And again, back to the trusty Dremel tool, and what I used was this polishing piece. And I just set it, again, in this router attachment. Set the router attachment for just slightly shallower than this, and then just ran this back and forth over the area using using this as a guide. And what that does is give me a nice smooth area. I also tried a different technique. I actually pulled out my Random Orbit wood sander, put some 220 grit paper on it, and tried sanding some pieces, and I got pretty good results. It left me some, didn't leave me as many marks on the, here you go, you can see them right here. Didn't leave as many of those marks on the details. But again, since I'm planning to paint over this, I don't think that's going to be those marks aren't going to be that big of a deal. So, I guess that's it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and throw it up, and let me know what you think. Bye.